I don't know if you feel this too, but the world is moving so fast. We got so much to do, and we keep optimizing so we can do more. But lately, I've been craving for the opposite. I want quiet moments, slow mornings, small things that can make me smile. The kind of stuff that we used to notice as kids, but don't usually see anymore. So this week, I spent each night making a drawing. Each one of them is a tiny joy to remind us there are still wonders in everyday life, if we slow down enough to notice it. The very first drawing in this series was inspired by making almond cookies. I used to love cooking and baking because it was so much fun to try out new recipes, making something from scratch and experiment a little. And of course, I love the health benefits because I want to be able to choose my own ingredients, knowing exactly what's going into my food. But over time, as life got busier, cooking slowly turned into just another chore. I started meal prepping, pre-washing and cutting the veggies, even buying the frozen vegetables to save time. I was trying to optimize everything. Cooking feels like it needs to be the most efficient way possible. Every minute felt like it had to count. The other day, I was making almond flour cookies for my husband. It was a super simple recipe with just like 5 ingredients. It takes no more than 20 minutes to do. But while I was doing it, my mind was somewhere else, because I keep telling myself I could be using this time to draw or record a video. I don't want to do this right now. I have so much other important stuff to do. So my hands were doing the motions, but my head were somewhere else. I don't even know what I did. Thankfully, I caught myself halfway, and I thought, wait a second, let's just try to slow down and pay attention, and try to enjoy this a little, because I have to do it anyway. So I started to notice little things. I cut the butter into small pieces and put them into microwave so that they don't explode and make a mess. The texture felt really buttery smooth. It reminded me how people describe the oil paints. I took a deep breath of the vanilla. It has a very nice and delicate aroma. I squeezed the honey into the butter and watched it swirl and disappear into the texture and sinking down to the bottom of the bowl like liquid gold. I mixed everything by hand and shaped the dough into little cookies. The dough was warm, soft, fun to touch. Honestly, it made me want to try sculpting someday. There was just so much fun in this moment. The texture, the smell, the colors, the tiny movements. If I were ever stranded on a desert island one day, touch wood, I think I really miss every single bit of this. And that's what inspired the drawing. Not the cookie itself, but the process. It's a reminder that even the small, routine, boring things in life can be full of wonder if we just slow down enough to notice it and allow ourselves to enjoy it. So for this drawing, I imagined a bunch of bunnies in the kitchen, cooking, baking, and doing some weird stuff. Because honestly, sometimes joy does feel like a bit of chaos. There's chocolate sprinkled everywhere, some bunnies goofing around instead of helping, and some are just straight up relaxing, already sipping the tea and snacking on the freshly baked cookies. One bunny is napping under the kitchen towel, and another one looked totally stranded. Well, I guess he's trying to steal the candies from the jar. And of course, there are actually a few doing the work, bless them. There's something really comforting about these kind of everyday or every week stuff. We often overlook them, but they're full of warmth and care. So I wanted the color palette to reflect that feeling too. So I chose the calming browns with the little pops of orange and green. I love the color combination. Just looking at it helps me to slow down and relax a bit. It reminded me to take a breath, step back, and appreciate these little moments. The next drawing was inspired by a road trip we took in Japan, and more specifically, the north area of Hokkaido. We went last year, and honestly, Hokkaido reminded me a lot of like here in Canada. The sightseeing spots are spread out over vast stretches of land, so we rented a small car to drive around because all the cities we were trying to get to were hours apart. One day, we planned to visit a mountain area that's really close to our hotel. Looks like it's just a few minutes away from the map. So we thought, okay, the roads were nicely paved. This could be a pretty easy drive, but we were very wrong. It started off like any regular city drive, but very soon we found ourselves on a narrow, winding mountain pass, the kind that could be straight out of Initial D. I guess it makes sense because the area we're trying to get to is known for its dramatic mountain peaks, the Shiratoko mountain range. And to get there, apparently we have to drive right into the heart of it. As we kept driving, the road got narrower, the turn got sharper, and the drop-offs steeper. It was kind of terrifying. I could imagine driving on a foggy, rainy, or even snowy day, but luckily for us, the weather was perfect. When we're looking at the mountains from far away, they look very soft and gentle. They're just a bunch of rolling hills connected. But once we're on them, it was a completely different story. The roads hugged the cliffs tightly, and our tiny little rental car barely fit within the lane. At some point, it felt like one wrong move could just drive us off of the edge. But because we're so close to the cliffs, I could look straight out and see the view very clearly, and it was stunning. From up there, we saw the endless layers of the mountains stretching into the distance, tiny little houses and cars far below, clouds floating just above us. It was both peaceful and wild at the same time. It was really surreal. Every turn revealed something new and breathtaking, and in that moment I felt so small, completely surrounded by nature. The whole drive lasted only a few minutes. I was busy appreciating the view while my husband was handling the dangerous driving. We're kind of relieved that it's over and we're safe, but I'm kind of sad because I really love the view and that feeling stuck with me. So I've been thinking a lot about how to capture that feeling, that sensation on paper. The thrill, the scale, and the quiet wonder of it all. There are so many beautiful photos professionally taken of the Shiratoko mountain online, but none of them quite capture how I felt to be there myself. Recently, I've been exploring how to express my feelings more authentically in my art. I've learned that I prefer using simpler lines and shapes, a bit childlike, very straightforward, because I want my drawings to feel easy to understand, even when they're about bigger emotions. So in this drawing, I lean into that approach. Instead of focusing on all the little details like exact roads and cars and the real trees, I try to focus on capturing the scale of the scape. So I use the silhouettes of the mountains to build depth, and I added organic patterns to the trees and sky to keep it visually interesting. It might not be realistic, but it's how I remembered it. And instead of drawing us, I added my happy little bunnies. They have long ears flapping around in the wind. I think it really added some thrill and joy into the scene. Sometimes simple lines can say more than detailed ones, and this one was one of those moments I really felt that. If you've been following my YouTube channel, you probably know that I've been on a bit of a self-discovery journey lately. I used to draw a lot of anime characters. It just came very naturally to me because I grew up reading manga and watching anime, and I still watch anime every day now. So over the past years, my drawing skill improved, and I developed a kind of unique way to use watercolor very loosely. But even though I was getting better, I started to feel kind of stuck. The loose watercolor style, well, I really like it. I think they're really beautiful. But it didn't let me express everything I wanted. There were times I had ideas in my mind, but I held back because I thought, well, this won't work once I paint it because there are too many details. It'll just get lost. But, if I paint it, it will just kill the looseness. So I always stuck with drawing just a character with simple background. And it took me a long time to realize that was what's limiting me. And then one day, I just picked up a marker and started doodling my sketchbook. No pressure, just lines. And that small shift changed everything. About 2 weeks ago, I started a new drawing habit. It was just using a fountain pen and a set of markers. The idea is to make the friction as little as possible, limit my choices so that I can get my ideas onto paper as quickly as possible. And it felt so freeing. I could immediately draw whatever I had in mind and everything just clicked. Lines are amazing. Just with some lines, you can see shapes, characters, movements, all very clearly, all at once. The world is already really busy, full of information all the time. I just wanted something simple, something joyful and easy to read, easy to understand, something that helps me to slow down and breathe. And this new drawing style does exactly that. And this one I'm drawing here is a great example. Even though there's quite a lot of stuff in the scene, drawing simple lines with just marker makes it feel clear. That's something I couldn't quite achieve with loose watercolor. The idea for this one actually come from our morning walks. A few years ago, our naturopath doctor suggested we go outside first thing in the morning to get the sunlight in our eyes. It helps reset the body clock, boost serotonin, reduce stress, all the good stuff. So we started doing that, and now it's something I really look forward to, especially in the summer. It's always quiet in the morning, no traffic, barely anyone around, so it's just usually two of us walking. We passed by a small forest, and right next to it there's a stretch of tall grass, and that's my favorite part because that's where we always see bunnies. They're usually nibbling on the grass, but the moment we get too close, they freeze. Their ear will be facing us, like trying to listen to us, and you can tell they're ready to hop into the tall grass any moment. And when they do, they just vanish, just like that. And it made me wonder, what if we could follow them? Where would they go? So I imagined a little world hidden just behind the grass. Maybe it's their home. Some bunnies are having tea, some are dancing, some are napping, and there's always one with mischievous smile and ready to head out on an adventure. Drawing this made me feel so calm and happy, and maybe next time you see a bunny while you're out walking, you'll slow down too, and take a moment to imagine what kind of world they might be going home to. You probably noticed by now, I've been drawing a lot of bunnies. Honestly, I didn't plan it out that way. I just wanted to draw a few joyful moments, but since the first three ended up being bunny themed, so I thought I might as well keep going. I'll make it a full set of 7 drawings all about bunnies. For this one, I wanted to try something a little bit different, just one big bunny. I tend to fill up every inch of the paper when I draw, so I just kept doing this for the first 3. I don't know if it's because I'm frugal and don't want to waste paper, but even in my sketchbook, I always ended up squeezing things in and overlapping shapes and trying to use all the space. So this time I challenged myself. I started with one big bunny right in the middle, thinking it would actually naturally take up the whole page. But then I look at it and realize I placed it way too high. Now there's a big empty space underneath. It looks kind of awkward. At least I need to get the composition right. At first I thought, okay, maybe I'll just draw some grass or flowers in front of him. But since I was using a fine liner, I couldn't erase anything. So I thought, well, what if I show something underground? And that's when it hit me. I think that's a great idea. Because what is feeding the giant carrots? I can draw that. And my idea is that it's actually eating little bunnies. I know that sounds a little bit dark, but I kind of love it. There's something fun about that slightly twisted vibe. So in this world, all the poor little bunnies got caught by the carrot roots and became the food that helped it grow so big. It's kind of messed up, but it also makes sense in a weird way, because life is like that sometimes. Everything is connected. What we enjoy today often comes from things we don't see. And sometimes those things are a little strange or bittersweet, but life goes on. Anyway, I'm really happy how this one turned out. The composition, the idea, everything. So I put it on the t-shirt and a tote bag. This is actually the first time I've made merch with my own art. I've always wanted to put my drawings on products, but my older watercolor style didn't quite work for it, so I stuck with prints. But now, having my art on something I can wear and carry around feels really different. I get to enjoy it when I'm not at my desk. Honestly, I don't know why I waited for so long. They turned out super cute, and I'm definitely going to start using them. If you like them too, you can check them out on my website, and let me know what you think. I really love to hear your thoughts. Okay, this next one is the spring scene. Even though we're deep into summer now and it's hot, like constantly between 30 and 38 degrees, that's pretty unusual for Toronto. Anyway, I drew this one because of a conversation I had with my best friend. She recently saw my new drawings and totally fell in love with them. I was so thrilled because we don't talk very often, so when we caught up the other day, it was actually her first time seeing this new direction I've taken. She told me she really relates to the feeling behind the art, like she loves her work, but things are just so busy, and life doesn't slow down either. She said all she wants sometimes just some quiet moments to breathe, look at something simple and comforting, something to lift her spirits a bit. And she told me my drawings did just that for her. That made me so happy to hear. She even said, you should just put them on tote bags, I want to get one, which is part of why I decided to do it. Then she has another idea. She's like, what if you just do one drawing per season? Little animals doing different things throughout the year. Oh, make a calendar. That would be so sweet. It's so hard to find ones you actually want to look at every day. She just has so many nice ideas. That whole conversation just lit something up in me. I felt really connected to my true self again. Up until now, my art mostly brought joy to me, but hearing that it could bring joy to someone else made me realize that this is exactly what I wanted to do, to share those little moments and to turn them into something that can brighten someone's day. Now, this drawing might not be the final version. I didn't even sketch it, just went straight in with a black pen. So yeah, maybe the trees could be drawn better and the composition might need some tweaking, but the idea, I love it. It started with one bunny blowing bubbles, and then each bubble turned into another bunny, and they float out, giggle, roll around, ride bikes, climb trees. Suddenly it's like this whole playful world comes to life, all from that one simple moment. And that's kind of how joy works, right? It started small, but it spreads, it multiplies. And before you even know it, it's everywhere, spelling out, touching others. And that's what I want my art to be like. And I love to keep making more products that can carry that feeling. Something people can enjoy and maybe even feel a little lighter because of it. I could have continued with the 4 seasons idea, but I decided to save that for another time. I already have that ideas written down, and for this video, I want each drawing to feel different, to explore as many different little wonderful worlds as possible. So this one was inspired by a pottery shop. Well, actually many pottery shops. On our last trip to Japan, we visited quite a few of them. They have so many nice shops, and they were often tucked away in unexpected places, like a tiny second floor in a quiet alley, hidden above an office or behind an old building. We'd walk up these narrow staircases, and it always felt like we were like entering somebody's apartment or a little secret room. It's like a mini treasure hunt. So naturally, I ended up drawing a long staircase in the middle of the piece. And why are there pots and cups flying around on the stairs? I think it's tied to something deeper, a quiet fear that I always had. The idea that beautiful things can fall and break, like pottery during an earthquake or a small slip of the hand and crash, it's gone. But does that mean we should stop collecting beautiful things or be afraid of using them? I don't think so. There's a Chinese saying, 旧的不去，新的不来, which means if old doesn't go, the new can't come. I think about that a lot. We love collecting pretty cups and bowls, but sometimes it's just hard to bring ourselves to actually use them. They require much more delicate handling and care. We're afraid of breaking them, but if we just keep them hidden away in a drawer, like what's the point? I'd rather risk it. Hold them in my hands, enjoy them, feel their texture, admire the colors, and they will make the food and drink better, right? They enhance the whole experience. Even if they break someday, at least they were loved. The value isn't just in the object, it's in the experience of using it. Same thing goes for art supplies. I love collecting pretty pens, fancy ink, beautiful paper, but I've caught myself saving them for a special day and for a special drawing that's worth it. And sometimes that day or that drawing just never come. So I always try to remind myself, just use them. And that's what gives them value. Not keeping them in a perfect shape in the drawer, but actually letting them bring me joy. So in this drawing, there's a girl floating, or maybe falling, surrounded by all these pottery pieces, and she's appreciating their beauty and she's trying to catch them, and some are breaking. Some she managed to save, but she looks like she's having fun, even in the chaos, surrounded by all the bunnies, of course. I also really love the colors in this one. I picked these ones because they feel soft and calm and remind me the color scheme of those beautiful little shops in Japan. This whole piece is exactly what I want it to be, a mix of calm and chaos, peaceful but unstable. There are so many little things to look at. It's like life sometimes, full of movements, full of surprises, full of chaos and little treasures to hunt. We just need to take the time to notice them and appreciate them. Alright, here's the last one. After doing so many of these drawings last week, I thought, you know what? Maybe let me try something I always wanted to do, but I was afraid of doing. So, guess what? I challenged myself to make tiny 5-panel manga. Just a small story. A bit dark, a bit weird, but still happy in the end. So, here's what happens. A bunny is walking happily along. Life is good, but then suddenly, someone pulls his ear off. Ouch. His joy is gone, and now he's walking alone, looking sad and lost. Then, out of nowhere, he bumps into 2 other bunnies. They wave him over like, hey, come join us. But they mean it literally. They want to be connected. One bunny has 2 ears, the other one has only 1. And they've been trying to connect to each other, but it just wasn't working. Then here comes our earless bunny. He's the perfect piece to complete the group. So they plug in their ears like puzzle pieces. I think Lego makes something like this before. So they connected and they roll up together. A little dizzy looking in my drawing, but I think they're gonna be okay. Probably happy again soon. It's a little silly story, but it has something real behind it too. Pain and suffering are part of life, and sometimes we feel lost. Like something's being taken from us, joy, hope, connection. But then someone waves you over, someone says, come join us. And that small gesture can make all the difference. I lost my dad a few months ago. Words can't describe my sadness, and I know I won't get over it anytime soon. But so many friends reached out to me with kind words and support, like those other 2 bunnies connecting with me. I'm so grateful. But okay, enough with the heavy stuff. I hope this slightly wacky 5-panel story gave you a little smile. I think it will look super fun on a tote bag or even on a t-shirt. Front and back prints, and maybe the 5 block can be on the front and the 3 bunny connected wheel can be on the back. Maybe I'll clean it up and make one. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Wow, I was really happy that I can actually finish all these 7 drawings this week. It's a new record for me. And I'm really happy how these ideas turn out. It's like I'm finally able to put something in my head on the paper. And I really hope I can keep up with this habit as a regular thing that I do. Now that I feel a little bit more connected to myself, I'm hoping that I can continue to draw things that bring me joy. And of course, I hope that bring you a little bit joy too. And maybe just help you to at least to slow down and relax a bit. And what do you guys think of the t-shirt? When I was making this one, I got really excited. So I drew this one and made another t-shirt. So it's a duck doing the pull up. What do you guys think? I really love to hear your thoughts. So leave me some comment. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.